Yeah, okay. You're on the cloud now. Start AI companion with recording. Huh,
Hmm.
sure. Let's try it and see what happens. I haven't used the Zoom AI companion before, so let's try it. It's new. Um, so uh, we're going to talk about December because December's here, and it's it's one or the other, right? So like for years and years and years and years and years pre-COVID, December was always my busiest month personally. And I don't know why. It just was. I always had more closings in December than I had in any other month throughout the year. Post-COVID, it hasn't been that way at all. It's been quiet every December. And I think that that kind of lines up with how the industry is generally. But for whatever reason, I never had that experience until COVID came. But generally speaking, it slows way down transactionally, and we don't need to go into why. Everybody understands and knows why. But I'll say this before we get into what can we do in December that's good and productive, and that is if you happen to run into somebody who's actively in the market in the month of December, boy, are they serious, right? Anybody that is going to want to take on everything that comes in December and comes with the holidays and go house hunting and look for a house is pretty darn serious. They're gonna buy something if they can find something to buy. Combine that with the fact that real estate agents can be difficult to reach in the month of December, and there's opportunity there, right? There's serious opportunity there. It's our look, our industry basically shuts down from Thanksgiving to New Year's. It's just the way that it is. Social media has changed that a little bit, or at least the perception of that. But the reality is that things get busy with other things. It slows down transactionally, and this is the time of year when a lot of real estate agents kind of like check out for a while. All right, unless they have stuff going on. It doesn't need to be that way. I think we can acknowledge that the opportunity to transact is far less. Um, if there is the opportunity to transact, the percentage of closures on that goes way up because those people are serious. But generally speaking, you know, transactionally it slows way down. So what the hell is it that we do just to not be bumps on the logs? I mean, do we just stay in sweatpants all day? Do we, what exactly do we do? How do we make the month of December count for something? And the way that I've liked to frame it since COVID came is December, and we've talked about this in other meetings, so some of this is going to be a little bit repetitive, but December is kind of like a great time for analysis, prep, and marketing. All right. When I talk about marketing in December, though, I want you to take it from a different viewpoint than normal. Like it's not transaction based marketing. The way I like to imagine it is, let's say that tomorrow you win the lottery. Okay. You never really have to work again. It doesn't really matter if you ever do a transaction again or not. You win the lottery, you don't have to worry about doing real estate transactions to pay the bills. Okay. But you make a decision that says, hey, you know what? I've got years of experience in this business. I've got a book of business. I'm going to use it to kind of farm. I'm going to farm for referrals, right? I'm going to switch to the kind of agent that just works their sphere, works their book of business, and if anything comes up, I refer it to my quote unquote partner agent. I get a referral fee and I move on. Imagine sitting in that space mentally. How would you market, or how would you prospect if you won the lottery and you were only farming for referrals? That's institutional advertising, and that's the kind of advertising and marketing that I like to do in late November and December. It's basically fear building, right? So maybe you're not talking about um, real estate in general, where most of the time you spend your time talking about the market and how it's doing, or closings, or market trends, or market reports, or real estate related stuff. You're showcasing houses, you're showcasing recently solds, you're showcasing videos about houses, you're doing all that. This time of year, I don't think you're doing that because I don't think anybody cares about that. They're not tuned into that, right? What are people tuned into this time of year? What's going through their brain? What kind of mode are they in?
Spending money and saving money.
Spending money and saving money or lack of money, right? Okay. What else? What are they thinking about?
The holiday ham.
Thinking about the holiday ham, thinking about good food, thinking about times with family, right? Thinking about times with friends, thinking about social events. What are all those things kind of have in common? They're like human connection bonding times, right? This is what we're tuned into. If you don't believe me, watch some of the big manufacturers' holiday commercials. Okay? You've seen them. There was one floating around my family text for a while. Oh my God, I cried, right? I watched the commercial and I cried. I mean, it was a Chevy commercial. Okay. And it was all about family and tradition and all of this really emotional human type stuff. I watched it, by the way, did not cry. But all this emotional bonding stuff, it's not the freaking 4x4 like jumping over a river and towing a backhoe on a trailer and showcasing all of the power of the heavy duty truck, or a Camaro getting sideways on a. It's none of that. It's not focusing their product. It's focused on trying to get people to identify with their brand on an emotional level, right? Coca-Cola does the same thing. I talked about some of the biggest companies in the world, right? Think about it. Think about some of the other auto manufacturers. Every single auto manufacturer commercial that you watch up right now, where's the car going? It's going to the holiday dinner or the holiday gift exchange or the family gathering or whatever, right? That's where the car's going. You
It's
get to
got a
see the
tree on
car.
top.
What's that?
It's got a tree on top. Does it have a
It's
tree
got
on
a
top?
tree on top, right? Or it's got the dog in the back. You know what I'm getting at, though, right? This is how they build brand awareness and they build brand loyalty by capturing going on in people's brains this time of year. You do the same thing, right? So if people are tuned into, as Brendan brought it up, as people are tuned into the family ham or the holiday ham, you know, one piece might be uh, your favorite holiday recipe. I don't know. One piece might be, like what does your family like to eat for, what's your favorite Christmas cookie, right? Something like this. The cover on my magazine this month is the cover shot is a holiday table, and the feature article is festive table settings or something like that, right? There's no house, no, it's festive table settings, right? So you tune into this vibe, and all of the messaging that you do, it can maybe have a real estate related spin if you just can't help yourself. But what might work better, or what might get people to watch a little bit more, or to stare a little bit longer, or pay more attention to what you're doing, is something that they're tuned into now. Oh, Damien, holiday related stuff. Yeah, I know, but go deeper than that. You know, focus on a tradition, focus on a process, focus on, do something controversial. Like, how do you feel about how do you feel about gift giving? Whatever, right? The calendars are big this time of year. If they're even still doing calendars anymore. It used to be calendar magnets coming out. Everybody gets something from the title company that's calendar related, right? Along with some little bow or whatever else. So when you're thinking about doing that, You can do holiday pop buys. Like you can maybe you take the top 25 people on your list and you drop off don't do alcohol. Like you drop off something festive on the doorstep. Maybe you don't even knock on the door. You just drop something festive on the doorstep with a little note, not your card. Please don't leave your card there. Just do a handwritten little note, happy holidays from Joni and family. Hope to see you soon. And just go. Just go. Let them find it. Let them be surprised. Right? Some of us can't help it, so we're just going to send out texts or whatever. Okay? You can send out texts or electronic communication or whatever, just letting them know you appreciate them, right? The big one, I got to get it done tomorrow. I'm feeling the pressure. I got to get it done tomorrow. I send hundreds of Christmas cards every year, right? I'm gonna bust myself. My family doesn't get them. My friends don't get them. Like, okay, that's not who they're for. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna see them. I'll say hi to them. But I tell you what, my book of business gets one every year. Okay. And like I said in the meeting before, it's hand signed. Even my mom's like, well, can't you just run that through your computer so you don't have to sign them all? Yeah, I could. All right. But I don't do that. I hand sign all of them. I write a quick note. I hand sign it. I hand address the envelope. I do cheat and use a return address label. Okay, I gotta cut it off somewhere. And then I put an actual stamp on it. I don't take it to the post office and have them run it through the meter. I put an actual stamp on it. And then, I drop this poor stack on the post office or the post office employee that lives in my house. So, um, those things are very personal, right? Those things take time. And those things are the things that I think mean something to people this time of year and will get you some mileage this time of year. Nobody wants to know right now. Well, I'm not going to say nobody. There's very few people that want to know right now. Um, just listed, just sold, under contract, market report for your area. They really don't care, right? They'll be interested in that in the rest of the year. They always are, but right now is not when they're going to do that. Okay, so that even though it's been just to give you insight of into my mindset, my number one task to do this week, the most important thing I have on my list to do this week is holiday cards, and I haven't done it, but that's the number one. Like this is the most important thing you can do this week is holiday cards. Okay, so it's a good thing I don't have to go out to Perimeter Road tomorrow because I'm going to be writing Christmas cards all day long. That's all I'm going to do. Write cards and go through like 75 gel pens or whatever. But just do it, right? Just do it. But the bad news is, according to the USPS, if you don't have those holiday cards in the mail by like the 15th of December, right? They're not getting them, right? So you're running out of time. You got 3 or 4 days. That's all you got, right? That's all you got. You got to get it done, right? It's a good time of year to go through your CRM. Okay, and I know we've talked about this before too, but really go through your CRM line by line. And every entry that you pull up, I want you to check for a few things. Do I have these people categorized correctly? Right? Even if you don't use that function now, I promise you at some point you will, or you'll want to, and you'll be mad if they're not categorized correctly. Right? Do I have them categorized correctly? Do I have their complete information? Right? Right now is a perfect time to do it because if you're missing, say, an address, you can call, you can text, you can say, hey, I was going through my files. I noticed that I don't have your mailing address. Could I get it from you? I want to put you on my mailing list, right? When they respond, immediately do a Christmas card and throw it in the mail. Then they'll understand, oh, they really did want me on the mailing list. I got this card, right? But make sure all of the information is complete. Make sure that you go to the second page of that client and check and make sure that you have the close date of their house, if that's applicable, and see if you have their birthday, right? Really go through and make sure that you've got all of their information complete. Then jump over to the other side of the screen and make sure that they're getting what you want them to get electronically. Just double check it, right? I know what you're going to say. I've already done it. I know they're getting it. Just do it, right? You will find things that you missed. You'll find things that you want to adjust, okay? Go through that CRM. Now's the time. You're not going to be doing a bunch of transactions. You're not going to be getting a bunch of phone calls. Now's the perfect time to do it and get it set because you're not going to have any time to do it come middle of January. I promise you, you won't. If you're any kind of real estate agent, you're not going to have any time to do it middle of January. Middle of January, it's going to get a little bit squirrely out there. All right? Which is a good thing. Okay? Go through the NextHome system, particularly the design center, and do like an audit on marketing materials that are available. Understand what's available to you because it is very comprehensive, right? And it's really easy. Once you mess with it a little bit, it's really easy. But if you don't know it's there or you're not familiar with it, when you have an idea or when you have a thought or when you have a listing, you're going to fumble when you don't have any time to try and understand it and you're going to abandon it, just like anything else, right? So now is a really good time to understand what's in there, how it works, how you can mess with it, how you can tweak it. You're going to have questions about how it works. You can ask me, you can ask member services, you can do all those things. You're going to find things that you're like, wow, I can use this, right? You're also going to notice, I believe, I haven't been in there in a little while, but I think you're also going to notice a bunch of new formats. Remember we talked about the marketing shift? You're going to see all kinds of new material with new art and new colors and new formats that are really, really awesome that you might not know are there. So go through and do that. Okay. If you haven't done it in a while and I'm working up to it right now, it's a good time to update your headshot and it's a good time to update your bio everywhere on the internet. Okay. We want to go through our electronic profile, even though you've gone through all that pain. Damien already did it. Took me 40 hours. I understand, but you want to go through and you want to check it and you want to see if it needs any updates. For example, if you're dumb like me and you put quantities of years into something, okay, I have been a real estate agent for 20 years. If you do that, which is powerful, every once in a while, you need to add some numbers to that. Okay. And that's a lengthy process. Now, I only do it every 5 years, right? Every 5 years, I'll add five to whatever the number is. So I'm not to that point yet, but I also do my headshot every 5 years and I'm right there. So now I've got to look at the headshot I've got and make a decision. Do I need to redo this? Can I ride this sucker for another couple of years? Where I'm at. Does it still look like me? I need to know, right? Because there is nothing worse than somebody thinking they know who I am on the internet and then me showing up in person. They're like, who's this old dude? Like, no, I want that guy. So you want to make sure to do that if it's appropriate. If it's time for you to do a headshot, and I was having a conversation with this, was it you and I, Brendan, talking to, yeah, it was Hillary, right? Hillary said, oh, I got to find a photographer to do my headshot. No, you don't. Not anymore. Okay. What you do is you have somebody take a picture of you with their iPhone. Okay. You might even be able to selfie it if you're really, really good at selfieing, but I don't recommend it. I think somebody should take a picture of you. You throw that sucker into Chat GPT. Okay. And you say, make me a professional real estate headshot out of this image. Done. Okay. No more find a photographer. No more send me the proofs. No more why is there a shadow on my face? No, no, no more any of that. Sorry, photographers of the world. I really am. But if you weren't so damn hard to deal with to get a headshot, we wouldn't be talking about Chat GPT. So it's a good time to be able to do that if it's appropriate. If you got a headshot that's a couple of years, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Sometimes it goes too far, the headshot. Sometimes it goes too far. All right. I've got a real big challenge for you. Normally, what we would say this time of year is go through all your transaction files and make sure that they're all situated and square. Do you have a good filing system, right? That your checklist, your transaction checklist is up to date. Everybody remember when we used to use paper transaction checklists? Remember that? Yeah, I do. Okay, we don't do that anymore. We run SkySlope. It's all electronic. Your files, your personal files for everything in your life should be cloud-based by now. Okay. It should all be in Google Drive or whatever other clouds there are. I use Google Drive. It should all be in Google Drive and it along with your transaction files, all of your recipes, all of your bills, all of your documents, all of your insurance policies, all everything should be in a cloud, not a filing cabinet. Okay? There's no need for that. Okay? Number one, filing cabinets are ugly. Number two, stuff gets lost. Number three, if there's a fire or some other catastrophic catastrophe, right, it's gone. All of that is eliminated in the cloud. Number four, if you have your cloud set up right, you can access it from anywhere, anytime, really easy, right? Now is a really good time, if you haven't done it yet, to jump in, dive in, and try and get that figured out and do it. And I'm going to give you the cheat code for the whole dang thing. Okay? All of you have used file cabinets, and every file cabinet has a drawer, right? There's different things in different drawers, right? All you have to do to get used to using the cloud is this. Open the cloud. Go up to the left-hand side if it's Google and say create new, all right? Scroll down once you click that create new button and say folder, all right? Click that. A little thing will come up and say, what do you want to name the folder? Name it whatever you would name the drawer, and then move on. Okay. Now, instead of putting it in the drawer with the name on it, you put it or save it to the folder with the name on it. When you open up your cloud, you'll see all of these folders with all these different names that look really, really familiar to you because it's the same name you used on your drawers. Okay. And you can do it. But Damien, what do we do with all the old stuff? Okay. What you do with all the old stuff is you box it up and you put it in the garage. You can label it, but you box it up and you put it in the garage. But Damien, what do we do with the file cabinet? Well, you can either sell it or you can light it on fire. It just depends on how you're feeling that day, right? If you do that, it will be painful. You will go through at least 2 months of pain. I promise you. You'll go through 2 months of pain. You'll have to fight everything in your cells not to do it, not to do it, not to do it. And then on about month three, you're going to be like, why the hell didn't I do this earlier? Okay? It's a great time to do that. Getting set up for 2026. Getting set up for 2026 strategically. Okay. It's a great time to update yourself on negotiations or listing presentations or buyer's presentations or whatever, but you can skip all that and you can go straight to the workman system and you can take a class instead. Right? You can jump into the workman system and you can make sure you set up your goals and understand how that works instead. You don't have to worry about anymore like, well, what should I do? How should I grow? How should I study? It doesn't matter. It's all done for you and we pay for it, right? We pay for it. All you have to do is do it. That's it. There's at least one person that has talked to us about it. And I'm telling you right now, it blew my mind. So I thought, no, yeah, so I'm busting myself. I haven't done it yet either. But I thought you just start taking the class and it's like one of these online correspondence courses and that whole thing. That's what I thought it was, right? Oh no. It is that, but then it's also live sessions. It's just amazing. It's incredible. Michael, have you signed up for it and started taking it yet? I know you said you were going to. Have you?
I started doing this and that, and then they have these things on Wednesday or Thursday that only are that during that time. So we're coming back to that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking for information. Like at some point, I'm going to have to do it. But I'm looking for information. I know Danielle was in it, and she's freaking thrilled about it. But I haven't talked to anybody else that's done it, but understand the workman classes, understand the workman system. That'll give you a huge uh, head start into 2026. If you can't track it, you can't do it, at least in my brain, right? If somebody asks me how I'm doing, if I'm not tracking it, I literally have no idea. The answer is just great or shitty, right? Like you never really know how you're doing. You never really know what you're tracking to do unless you're actively monitoring this stuff. And it makes the biggest difference in the world from you turning into a responder to someone that's it's running your business and working in your business proactively, right? Everybody that's in here, I think, knows the value of working proactively versus responding, right? There are agents that run their whole career, that go their whole career by doing nothing but responding to either positives or negatives, responding to good things or to crisis. That's all they do. They never plan a lick, right? They never, they have zero business planning, they have zero goal tracking, they have zero anything. They're just floating through the world waiting for the next transaction to come. I mean, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. But what happens when something like 2024, 2025 rolls around? You're screwed, right? The thing that keeps us out of those, or the things that insulates us from those, is being proactive in how we manage our business and how we run our business. Being proactive in marketing, being proactive in sphere building or current sphere appreciation or whatever. That's what keeps us out of that. That's what takes out the humps. If Generally speaking, if I talk to an agent right now that's like, I'm not doing a damn thing, I'm not doing anything, the first thing I know is, well, I could probably help this person a lot by teaching them how to manage and work a sphere of influence. Right? I don't think negative about them. I just think they're not doing it. There are exceptions to that. It's been that bad the past couple of years to where there are people that are doing a good job with that that still aren't doing anything. But generally speaking, if somebody tells me nothing's going on and they're not doing anything and they're struggling, my first stop for them in the conversation is tell me what you're doing with your book of business, your sphere of influence on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis. Tell me what you're doing. And tell me, are you tracking that? And then tell me, what do you want to do? Right? If I ask you that question, if I say to you right now, Michael, how's it going? And you say, not great. I say, great. Well, you're not doing as much as you want to do. My next question is going to be, how much do you want to do? Right? Well, what do you want to do? Do you know that 90% of the people I talk to can't answer that with a number? You know what they say? More. Okay. Well, we all want to do that. But if they can't give me a number, again, what's that tell me? Not doing any kind of forecasting, goaling, none of that. They're not doing any of that, right? So we can help them by teaching them how to do that. Does everybody have a number in their head right now for 2026? 25 is over. Everybody have a number right now in your head? How many units you want to do? Do you have a number? Yeah. Brendan, you have a number? Brendan's got a number. Johnny's got a number. Yeah, you guys all have a number. Okay. I mean, that's step one. Now, help yourself track that number by using the system. I'm going to pick on Joni, okay, because we actually had a conversation about it. Joni's like, hey, Damien, you know, we talked when you first hired me, and I told you that, like, I'm 95% retired and I'm working on being a referral agent, right? And I don't really want to take a bunch of workman classes and go crazy. And I said, that's totally fine. Like, I understand. That is totally fine. I don't want you to, I'm not going to say like, oh no, Johnny, you're here now and we have workmen. You better take all the classes. I need you to grow. That's not the point. But Joni could still benefit from one little piece of that system. Joni says, I want to do 12. She can put in 12. She can see how she's doing and use it. Is she ever going to use the score 60 points a day on the side? Probably not. Okay. Is she ever going to sign up for BAM and Slam and Jam and Ram and, probably not. Okay. But she can see how she's doing with the unit count or with the volume count. She can maybe look at the checklist and see, okay, if I look at that checklist and I look at those activities and then I tweak that into institutional stuff to try and just grow my book organically versus growing a sales empire, she can use it that way, right? So it's really got something for everybody in there. The rest of you guys better be in there cranking on it because you want to grow, right? So even if you're at the point, if you're an agent that's at the point where you're like, look, that is not my direction right now. I don't need that. Actually, you do. You should use it because it'll help. It is free, so use it and, understand where you are and what you're doing and whether or not you're going to make it. And that might prompt you to do different. Hell, Joni, that might prompt you to spend more time with your friends at that wine joint in Newcastle. I mean, what the hell's wrong with that? So, it can be used for all kinds of good. Get into the systems that we have, understand what they are, and then decide at what level you can use them or at what level it's appropriate for you in your business and what you're trying to do. All right, last thing. According to AI, okay, because I don't know enough about this. Here's some great ideas for social media content this time of year if you're a real estate agent working on building your sphere of influence. Here's some great ideas. Number one, a holiday gratitude video. I like that, but I never would have thought of that. Okay? A holiday gratitude video. Number two, a 2026 predictions post or video. Now, we're starting to flirt with, real estate related data, but I mean, predictions can be fun. Why not? Number three, I really like this one. I really hope everybody does this one. A client appreciation reel. Okay? And what that might look like. That is really cool, right? Let me tell you why I like that so much, just in case this isn't running through your head already. So I'm just some guy scrolling through social media that had a really bad experience with a real estate agent. Okay. Not that hard to find guys like me. All right. I had a really bad experience. Maybe it wasn't even horrifically bad, but it just didn't feel good. Right. I wasn't thrilled about it. And I scroll up on Brendan's client appreciation video. Right. They all look happy. Brendan's like, I love my clients. They're awesome, whatever. And I'm thinking, man, I want to be one of Brendan's clients. That looks like it feels good, right? I love that. I have done this before. I stole it from someone else, but I really like it. A neighborhood lights guide. The location of where you can drive and bother all of these people to see their lights. Actually, you're not bothering them. They do it on purpose, right? They actually want. I ever tell you guys I sold a house on Candy Cane Lane in Rockland? You guys know what that is? It's in Stanford Ranch 1, okay? And it's one of those loops where you pull in and it is chaos from the beginning of the street all the way around the loop. They got all the lights, they got all the crazy, they got, you can't drive down the road. You have to park and get out and walk. You're walking down the road, you're sipping coffee or something else that's in the coffee cup, right? They've got it choreographed to music. There's lasers, there's Santas, there's flying shit in the air. I sold a house there. We had to disclose that that's what happened in the neighborhood at Christmas time, just in case somebody wasn't into it, right? Yeah. Joni's got a question. You got to unmute. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Is that on Pebble Creek?
Yeah.
I used to live there.
Did you really?
I did. It wasn't as wild and crazy as it is now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I did when I first moved up here.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It is, but it's fun. It's
Yeah, it
really
is
fun.
fun. It is fun. Yeah, they call it Candy Cane Lane. So, um, and then the last one that, according to AI, that is the best real estate or realtor social media post is winter home maintenance tips. Okay, winter home maintenance tips. So there you go. That's what you can be doing the month of December to stay productive, to build your business. And if you're anything like me, feel like you're still doing something business related so that you don't feel like a complete sloth. All right. Does anybody else have that sickness? I do. I have
Me.
that sickness big time. Brendan also has the sickness. I'm very aware of it. Any questions? Oh, I have one more question. It's a follow-up. On November 13th, 2025, we had a meeting, and the gist of the meeting was mastering your 1 minute or 30-second or 20-second stump, where if somebody asked you about real estate or mentioned real estate or buying and selling real estate, you had a 30-minute window to grab them with a spiel that you could just bam, bring out like that. And I said, make sure you have it done by Monday, because if you don't do it by Monday, you're never going to do it. Did anybody do it?
I didn't see that meeting.
Yeah, that's an acceptable excuse, I guess. I
I
didn't
was
see you
someplace
there.
warm.
You were someplace warm. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was.
How about you guys? Any of you other guys do it? Nod yes, shake no. Brendan says yes. Good, no, 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 no. Okay. All right. Challenge is still out there. If you don't remember what it was, go back and watch the replay. Get that one done. That's something else you can work on in December. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's a good time to do it, to get it polished, because you're probably not going to have to use it, right? Until like January. So now's a good time to work on it. Okay. All right. Questions, thoughts, anything like that's 45. I'm going to get you out of here. We're going to watch football. Yeah, Brent.
I've got one more pro tip for you for this time of year and
Hmm.
staying in touch with your clients. Home Depot has a sale every year, Black Friday. I think also after New Year's, you can get poinsettias for $1, right? So no slight to the post office. Instead of mailing, you get the poinsettia, you write a note out, and you drop off the poinsettia in the note to 5 of your top clients or 10 of your top clients. It's cheap, it's personal, they love it.
I love that one. I love that one. Good call. Anybody else got a winner? No? All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, I'm going to click the button in 5 seconds, and we'll see you next week, if not before. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy December.